Double figures with 11.
I love what Coit did right there. Again, he had a chance to shoot the basketball, but gave it up for a better opportunity for a teammate.
Bates still looking for that first bucket. Able to penetrate and rattles it home. So Emoni Bates is on the board. Bates second in conference this year in points scored. Coach Stan Heath has done such a good job. When you get a player of that caliber coming in, he's really made him felt at home, and he's had a spectacular season. Will be one of the top players in the MAC at the end of the year, and that's why gets the rim and scores. We want Drew Weimer is a senior from Coal Valley. About 90 miles up the road. Looking on, might see him in these final minutes. Cross-court pass almost stolen by Crump. On the dribble for Bates. 82 points for the Huskies. They're going to move to 10-0 when they score that magic number of 80. As Bates steps back and scores.
Pounds coming in, a little double team on AG, and AG found him.
Rashawn Agee all smiles after that one. How do the Eagles respond? Emoni Bates looking to get going, and now that Matheny has made 66 threes on the season, that puts him into the top 10 for most threes in a single season for a Bowling Green Falcon. He's just tied former Falcon Trey Diggs.
Okay, Trey still playing overseas.
Just a year removed.
Yeah, still slinging him. Cut off his locks though. Didn't recognize him.
That was some good moss.
He had some good lettuce up. He had a lot of room. Dribbled the ball a long way before anybody even got to him.
A little head shake afterwards too as he came back down the floor. Emoni Bates with a quick answer. His second three. The Eagles.
That's how you're gonna. I mentioned at the beginning of the game how when he gets to the line, it's so effective because you're putting guys in foul trouble and you're getting the easy free throw. He's a good free throw shooter.
Bates uses his length. You talked about it earlier.
Enjoying his somewhat of a homecoming here.
4 for 6 of the Broncos, and they are lit on this Tuesday night.
Oh, is it lit, Greg?
Lit.
It's lit.
We can't say fire because that's the Chippewas.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
3-point shooter on the season, and in this contest, he's 2 for 3. Bates will go in. It'll drop as Maddox hits his third.
No, he is seeing a larger cylinder than the rest of us. Confident stroke.
Had just 10 points against Eastern earlier this year, 22 in his last game. Emoni Bates played with foul trouble, gets the home roll.
Up from half court, it just puts you behind an 8-ball.
Well, and after it was Eastern with the ones that couldn't string consecutive makes together, Western experiencing that lull, and Bates feeling it, flashes to 3.
I would rather win basketball games.
We've also seen so many of those shots now go so long. It's got an opportunity to come back at you.
I learned this when I first picked up a basketball in biddy ball. You, the shooter, know where the ball is going to go before anybody else on the court does. You know how it comes off your hand. You know how you feel it. That one came off his hand perfectly.
Bates with the finger roll. Loose ball. Maddox blows the dunk. Eastern has numbers. Bounce pass to Bates. It's showtime.
And then they also did a great job of playing through the paint. 18 points of their first half points were in the paint.
And Kent State, when they lead at the half, they are 16-1. And EMU, when they trail at the half, they are just 2-14. So a tale of two different tapes as we start this second half here.
When you're playing from a deficit on the road versus this team, Kent State, you don't have a big margin. And nice play. They would be physical, and that really comes from not just the bigs, Golson and Jeter, but it's also got to be the guards and the wings that come out and help.
Bates, that jumper bound off the miss from Davis. Up the floor, Acuff in transition, lays it up, doesn't go. Bates with a beautiful. It means that when you're Coach Senderoff, you can then call out and expect the same from the rest of the guys on the roster.
That's right, because you have older guys that are extensions of the coach. And another thing I've noticed about the MAC as a league, a nice move by Bates, 15-2, and then Eastern Michigan kind of closed that gap. But since then, since the last few minutes of the first half, they have been steadily in control of this game, and Sincere Carey has not even had to do a lot. It's been a team effort tonight.
Bates, the deep.
Teams are still kind of settling in a little bit here in the first 12 minutes. So if they can finish the last 7:43 with a little bit more consistency, I think both teams will be happy going in the locker room.
Each team with 5 field goals. Eastern getting 3 of them from Noah Farrakhan, the other 2 from Billingsley and Jeter. Now you can add Bates.
Point now. So let's see what Eastern can do here. You know, I think that they still have stuff to play for. You're maybe not going to beat one of the top 4 teams in this league, but you're only a game out of that 8th spot in the postseason. And how big would that be for Stan Heath to get there in the second year?
And I think that's what it is. It's Bates catch and shoot from the right wing. How about Nate Johnson? Beautiful. There's pros and cons, right, to every defense. As Emoni now tries to slice his way to the bucket, and finally does.
Hardnett with a pretty up and under move. We're trading baskets right now.
No one wants to play defense.
Nope, nobody does. Bates gets bodied by blocker and will draw the foul.
Back games. Now, they did lose their last game by 1 in overtime to Ball State, so the defense was a huge question mark, but no one's questioning the ability of this team to score the ball consistently when that guy plays for you.
And you knew that was coming, huh? Emoni Bates' first 3 of the...
Right around that as well, just under 80 for the season. That's 30th in the country at 79.3 points per game.
And how about Eastern is 0 for 12 when they allow 80 points? So that might be our magic number here tonight. Bates pulls up, long 3, got it.
I think there might have been an and 1 there as well. I mean,
1.
Yeah, he was 1 for 14 from beyond the arc in his last couple of games. So great to see Zid Powell see one go through.
And now we're getting what we thought we were going to get, especially from the big man, Emoni Bates. Rocking the green headband, checking into the ball game. Redshirt freshman from Detroit. Again, the Eagles without a couple of regulars, Jalen Billingsley and Kevin David Rice, who are sick and did not make the trip to Buffalo. Look at Emoni Bates creating his own space and hitting. Man, is that not an NBA-like?
6:45 left.
Exactly. And again, we talked about those magic numbers. And the Bulls score 80 points. They are 10-1 this season.
38-10 since Coach Weitzel took over in the conference.
Emoni off the square and was in the cylinder, so that was a pretty accurate offensive interference, and there are the rules. So I think that it would seem pretty obvious when it was first called, and the rules will back that up. Jeter has it knocked away, nearly stolen. Back to Bates. Bates gets the screen. Emoni Bates drives and scores. 21 in the game. Hasn't been a first-round pick from the MAC in the NBA draft since Chris Kaman of Central Michigan in 2003. Of course, back-to-back second-round picks the last 2 years with Ryan Rollins of Toledo and Jason Preston of Ohio. Bates pulls up, hits.
He scored 43.
Here for Ball State, good set. And a timeout for Michael Lewis.
Defensive misstep there. Has got crossed up, in their communication.
Bates thinking three, buries it.
You have to stop them from no blow-bys. You got to keep them out of the lane, because when they have to help, there's no way they can stop Ball State from getting on the rim.
Rebounds, second chance points, so key. There's Bates, two more. Easy.
People just underestimate maturity, mental health. You know, you're talking about a kid giving so much, and sometimes things don't go according to plan, and the question is, how do you adjust to it? He's a kid. Think about adults. We don't always adjust well, and imagine giving to someone that much fame. It doesn't always work the way you think, and there he is again.
Wow, what a finish through contact.
They do what Ball State does. They got to move the basketball, not so much one-on-one.
That was trouble with a handle. Lovejoy the steal. Farrakhan running. Bates leaping and lays it in. Next month in Cleveland, so we're in the mix right now.
Listen, I talked about it with the MAC headlines. Kent State, that tough loss. You know, they lost to Charleston, who people thought they get out large bid. They lost to Houston. They lost to Gonzaga, and if they won out, it was some talk about it, and they lose to Northern Illinois. Point being, and
Bates good start to the half. Score guard. NC transfer. That's the rebound for Eastern Michigan. Lovejoy wants to show here. 6 can feel a danger zone for a fragile Eastern Michigan team with just 6 wins this season. Got to be Bates time. Step back. Emoni Bates for three. Got it. And there you go. A couple years. The NBA and G League teams are so close together. Could do it.
Yeah,
two-way contracts. Yeah. Practice with a team.
And also, I know, it depends on where you get drafted. You know, what team you go to, how much you play.
Bates looking for back-to-back. Jackson's got it. Your team you'll see tomorrow in the Valley Indiana State. 15 wins, those 3 teams. So Michael Lewis really turning things around.
Yes.
He knows this state so well. From Jasper, Indiana, played in Indiana, knows high school coaching, recruiting as well as anybody. What a shot!
He's contributions to this country. I encourage everybody, right? Everybody to take a look, particularly this month. And to me, every month is Black History Month, but we definitely are celebrating for sure now.
Here's Bates right in the paint, hits again.
2 words.
Players we talked about this year. C.J. Massenberg, last time it happened with 43. That was a non-conference game 4 years ago, now 5 years ago for Buffalo. Jamon Ivey, last time 40-plus in a game in the MAC.
Barks.
Coleman drives, too strong. Baseline layup, good move to get 3. Loose change rebound for Bates.
The game rebounding, everybody going to the rim, lots of hands-on balls. Bottom line is the Eagles are coming up with rebounds they probably haven't come up with all season long.
Here's Bates. 2 more off the glass. Moving around Billingsley, trying to avoid his 5th foul. Fans here, especially next to us, vehemently believe there should have been the end one there.
Yeah, Billings just got to be solid for those reasons. No reason to go for it.
Bates again!
Goodness. Oh, you have to rotate and chase. It's almost like playing transition in a half-court situation.
Bates against Jacobs.
Nothing
2 more!
Nothing you can do. Back and forth with the thriller in Manila. Last man standing.
That's what it feels like. Pearson, 5th Cardinal double figures tonight. $1:45 overtime. Bates, another one. You better believe it.
As Billingsley made the last bucket for Eastern Michigan.
I like that Easterns, they're throwing it into Billingsley. They're getting the ball inside, and that's something that, I talk about a ton when these broadcasts go. And that was a nice feed there.
Back door.
That was unless a team goes on some crazy run, but these 2 teams are relatively evenly matched as far as your leading scorers and who you've got, and that's a nice cut down by Emoni. Great pass by.
Clarify what's going on with Justin. A good word here as Lovejoy set to inbound it. What'd you find out there, Jay?
They were looking to see if there was a little something extra on the moving screen by Clayton. Nope, just a standard common foul. So
Play on. So that will be Clayton's first, team fourth. Eastern fills it up on the other side on the ensuing. And its level from the three-point line for Ohio. They're now 7 of 23 for 30%. Bates nearly had that one stolen away. Miles Brown got a piece of it. Bates, long three, and he hits it from the left wing.
In shot clock, I mean, not all the way down, but, you know, that was a good defensive effort. You guy just made a shot.
8th three-pointer of this game for Ohio. Bates going right to the hole. Got right around his man. He might have broke Miles Brown. 43-point night by Emoni. You still lose, but you played with one of the better teams in the conference. Then you go on the road at Miami. You get a win down in Oxford, and you carry it over to a home game. And this looks like a different team right now. Now, some of that could be Ohio, who you're playing. As Emoni hits it falling away down into this game, you got to find a way to close this out and build upon it.
Well, and you go on the road, like we said. You got Ball State and you got Buffalo. Winnable games on the road. Then you come home against two of the top three teams before you go on the road against the best team. Keep getting right. Whether that's wins or close losses, keep getting right.
There's Emoni. A floater baseline. He's starting to heat up
offensively right now, and Kamari Williams throws a bad pass right into the hands of the Eagles. Bates ahead with it. Thought about pulling up for the three as Billy Smith picks him up. He's going to back him up with 20. Got by him for an easy layup. Emoni Bates
for getting a rest, so we'll see now what Julian Lewis can do.
Acuff gives it out top, and Bates working with the basketball against Lewis. Put it on the floor, driving, and then fading away from 18 and burying it. Just a 4-on-1 as Kamari Williams throws it back, but Bates is there for the steal.
Yeah, Williams just lost track of the defenders and didn't see someone step in front of Mabry.
Bates all the way to the basket, slides past Mabry.
See if he tries to give himself an opportunity. He's going to give it
up. And out top, gets the ball back. Bates right side triple is good. And Acuff will bring it down.
That was a really strong rebound by Rice.
Deep three is good for Bates. He just
nearly stolen away, and then it's picked up. Here we go the other way. That is Zariq Nutter, and then Eastern Michigan flips it away. That's Orlando Lovejoy. So Eastern trying to answer, down 4 baseline, kicks it over to Emoni Bates, pulls up just inside the three-point arc and hits.
Well, he can do that. So can you take players and can they get better? Can you make people do what they're uncomfortable doing? It's not easy to be successful. You have to work at it. It takes a lot of dedication, and really a lot.
As Zariq Nutter hit the three.
Akron has never trailed. Castaneda step back three. Rebound saved in to Emoni Bates. Emoni Bates, his first field goal of the game.
Jeter, of course, a transfer from Providence as well. Here's Bates, top of the key three, nothing but net. Finding themselves in an early hole against an in-state rival. They were trailing by as many as 14 in that game against Central Michigan on Saturday. Acuff on the outside, shot clock under 10, into the corner. Now Bates, pull-up jumper, he knocks it down. What a shot. Georgetown and Providence coming from really big-time conferences to Eastern Michigan. It's a testament to Stan Heath, the kind of coach he is, as Emoni Bates launches the three and knocks it down. Acuff will bring it up the floor. For Bates, on the baseline, reverse lay-in for two. As it's tipped away, a steal for the Eagles. Up ahead for Bates, on the baseline, gets it to go.
The Western, you got to really talk a lot on the perimeter. You're ready to switch and head screens.
Here's Bates against Maddox, pulls up and knocks it down. What a shot from Emoni Bates.
PG come true.
Only 4 home games for Eastern during the non-conference slate. They were 2-2. Bates missed his shot. Now we got a slow BG player getting up. It's Brenton Mills. So it's a 5-on-4 advantage here for Eastern for the time being. Bates takes it right to the rack, grabs his first.
Keeping the ball by Bowling Green, just not letting it stick and moving around the perimeter until they found the open man in the corner.
So a 5-point advantage. They've led by as many as 6. Eastern Michigan has not led in this game at all. 27-22. Eagles have closed within 2 a couple times. Here's Bates. The defense here by Mills. Bates puts it up. Wow!
On the last 2 seasons. Trying to get inside to Gigi Jackson, but it's a steal for Emoni Bates. Bates takes on Bozeman's for dunk. Bates, the fall away. That's good. For these talented freshmen, Gigi Jackson, Zach Davis. Gamecock shooting 62.5%. And there's Bates who rattles in a 3.
Yeah.
Player, he hasn't scored in the last 2 games.
I don't think that's what he's meant to do. I think he is a disruptor. So, obviously, you need a point guard to be able to get you into your offense. But if you can't get into your offense, or if you can't even get the ball past half court, then that is helping Eastern Michigan.
Well, Jihad wanted it in the post. Instead, Bates said
pump fake, and then all he had to do was get to the other side of the rim for the up and under.
Gamecock lead is 11. Jihad runs out of room. So they'll reset with Emoni Bates. 10 seconds. Pulls up, top of the circle. That's good. Oh, splash from Emoni Bates.
You don't have a chance. And you look at Eastern Michigan's conference, they are a one-and-done type team where if you win the conference, that's how you go to the NCAA tournament. If you go to the NCAA tournament, you get more exposure, and I think that's what these guys are looking to do.
Bates pulls up, rattles in. Jackson. Shot no good, and the rebound for Farrakhan. Farrakhan was shaken up early in the first half. He looks to be all right. Bates, a deep 3. Got it.
And I saw that coming. That's great that Chico Carter made that shot, but at the same time, you can't do that. You got to make that layup.
Brown, the turnaround, no good. The rebound for Emoni Bates. Bates pulls up a deep 3. Got it.
That's the thing. You cannot get 3 levels. One of the things that he does is, though, he is a player of the system that's presented to him. And so whatever the defense is giving, he's responding to that defense. He saw that the defender went under. 2 people went with the roll man or the slip man, and he made him pay.
GG has 15. It's his first 3. He's a 36% three-point shooter coming into tonight. Bates. A soft touch off the glass. There's Noah Farrakhan. Gets past Davis. The shot was altered by Jackson. Bates, a deep 3. Oh, he's done it again.
Yeah, I mean, at this
on travel. What's in your wallet?
Well, the explanation was incidental contact, so no foul. As we resume play, Gamecocks leading 61-48. Bates pulls up and hits.
It was madness.
Do they rate guys in the 4th grade?
No, they don't. They did Emoni Bates, though. So let that marinate.
Tells you just how good this kid is. Acuff gets it to Bates. Double team quickly. Now it's just Bozeman's for dunk on him. Tough shot. Unbelievable. Emoni Bates. Bates looking to add to a career night. They find him inside against Bozeman's for dunk.
Momentarily. Right wing, Aaron Gray, an open 3. That one off the rim, no good. Weak side rebound, that is Bates. Good look early there, though, for Aaron Gray. Here's Emoni off a screen. His triple is good. Down 10 threes last Sunday.
Yeah, shooting percentages will be key for them today.
Here's Lovejoy with it. Niagara goes man-to-man. Bates off a screen with the freshman Bryce Moore on him. Now Bates, free throw line jumper. That one is good. Play good defense. Kasperzik taking Bates down to the bucket. Shot on the way is no good and no foul call. That is certainly some officials aware of who's on the floor. Again, there was contact. Jihad up top to Bates. He will ask for the screen to be set, doesn't use it. Goes along the baseline, pulls up, two-pointer is rattled in. Bench haven't sat down yet. It brought him right out of their seats. 24 apiece. So the Purple Eagles have fought back from what was at one point a 6-point deficit. Our second tie of the early going. We've had two lead changes. Jeter with the basketball. Now to Bates. Bates taking Mitchell down low, and he spins that one in. This has been a good first half. The pace of the game, the level of scoring, this is where EMU wants to see the game, in the 70s, maybe low 80s. Bates with the basketball. Good move there on Mitchell. To the bucket he goes and knocks in another.
5-inch advantage, had the inside position, sealed his man.
First year at Illinois State, transferring from Western Carolina, from Wichita, Kansas. Bates takes the three and makes it. There's a bit of that low first half in which he scored only 3 points. He now has 12. Kazubke misses the three. The rebound by Acuff. Here's Bates. Has some space. Will step back, take the three, and nail it. His second three-pointer.
To the big fella in Vlad. Around, and Jeter comes down with the rebound. I think it's going to be a good test for Jeter in this game to see how he really matches up with a true big as they get ready for conference season in a month or so.
No, absolutely. And like I said, it's all about, for him, it's fundamentals. When you play a guy that's significantly bigger than you, it's all about positioning. It's all about knowing where you're supposed to be on the floor to keep him away from his spot.
There's Bates. Fadeaway shot. Takes it right in. 12-4. 8-point advantage. Largest lead of the game so far as we are just underway. There's Bates. Comes off a screen. Bates takes it right to the hole. Count them.
Jinxed them right into that one. But no, they can shoot at a really high clip, and they're going to take a lot of those threes. So we have to watch that. Eastern Michigan, they have to find the intensity. That's defensively, that's offensively. Play within themselves and understand that this is not just going to be given to them.
Eastern, though, has made 3 of their last 4 down the floor. Legend Jeter now out there. Picks up his dribble, drops it off to Bates. Little stutter step, finds his way in the lane. Double team comes, falling away, gets it to go. Wow.
Again, an open invitation for Chris Creighton to come and sit between you and I during one of these games. I think he's an unbelievable leader of men, and he's got Eastern Michigan football relevant, and it has been consistently relevant.
Speaking of making people relevant,
I think his gum is still on the floor down there.
I'm glad it was gum, because I didn't know if it was a tooth or not that popped out. Here's Bates in transition, trying to take it to the hole, and he finishes back-to-back buckets and count them.
Well, the Eagles are getting closer to the bonus, too. A couple more fouls and they'll get in. They got to be aggressive. Go to the basket, make them draw contact.
Nice floater, and it finally falls. Emoni pulled down that rebound.
A 7-footer was one of them.
Here's Farrakhan in front of the Eastern bench. Halfway down, doesn't go. Emoni goes back up. Strong put back for the Owls.
That's tough pill to swallow. And you look at the bench and you say, who's going to change that?
There's Emoni. Nothing but net.
2 baskets in a row for Davis.
Actually, it's 4 of the last 5. Finding his way in is Emoni.
Integrity left with 2 minutes to go to say, that's not allowed. Like, I understand the game is over, but don't just let them do things to you like that.
So now Emoni trying to answer on the other side. He doesn't hammer.
position, but didn't really put a body on him to allow him to go over the top of him, but it wasn't over the back.
Brooks does lead the Tritons in rebounding. He averages around 6 a game. He's already has 2 in this one. Here's Farrakhan to Bates. He'll stop and pop for a left wing 3. Safe spot.
He can't make that shot. He certainly can. I've seen him do it. But this game has to be controlled by Eastern right now.
Good hustle by Savicevic. Gets it over to Bates. Now back to Bates, and he hammers it home. Possession, 11 seconds to go here on the shot clock.
Way to fire themselves up to get back into this game.
Well, that was Pope, who buries a 3 from the left side. Pope now with 11 points, also joining Brooks in double figures. Here's Bates trying to answer, and he does.
Gem of the game right there. I mean, great bucket by him.
Anderson, the freshman out of Cali. Here's Bates trying to answer. Oh, my goodness.
On the post up there.
Opens Alford, the sophomore from South Carolina, averages almost a double-double on the season, and they're going to look to get him involved early and often. Now Eastern Michigan in the hands of Bates. The long 3. Emoni Bates knocks it down.
Been a little bit better. Some deep post-ups, allowing their field goal percentage to be higher. Eastern Michigan, a lot of stuff off the dribble, like that one there.
Opportunity. McKelvey for 3. Freshman can't knock it down. Bates with the rebound. Makes it himself up the floor. He'll pull up for 3. He's got it. But a great defensive play. Tenari Lane with the 3. Couldn't have hit it. That would have brought Winthrop out of their seats.
I would have been fine seeing Winthrop bring that ball back out too.
Action there coming out of the timeout. Great execution. Had an open look.
Morton Robertson, the redshirt junior out of Virginia. Open look and knocked it down. Acuff. Oh, great look underneath. Defense from the Mastodons. Looking to extend this lead. Unable to finish. Randall with the board. Randall Lovejoy, the freshman, had a Detroit on there, number 10. As Bates immediately closed down. You see the Mastodons, they are not allowing Emoni Bates to get any free space. Back to Bates, little shot. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the half. 7-point game. Bates has not been as big a factor in the first half as Eastern Michigan would like. Another
maintain that lead.
5th-year player out of Baltimore. He's listed at 5'8", but he has no fear of going into the paint. Again, Sean Quee, step back. He's feeling it, unable to hit it.
He can shoot it, can drive it, great finishers. A lot to offer to the game.
Godfrey leading all scorers, 17 points. 4 of 14 from the field, and a perfect 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Eagles, 60 seconds remaining. Acuff. Billingsley out to Bates. Bates for 3. Unable to hit, but it'll...
Time for the rebound. Bates gets the ball screen. He'll step back, launches the 3. Wow.
Yeah, and that was... You're probably pretty correct on that.
Remember, I'm married.
Yeah. Wow, you don't see that very often.
Bates will fire a long 3.
And all of a sudden, there's...
Very important rebound.
Probably wouldn't be my first choice for that shot.
There's a takeaway from Jalen Moore.
You just see the energy level picking up here for Eastern.
2-on-1. Bates catches it, lays it up and in. He's got 8. Here come the Eagles.
But there.
Shepard is 5 for 5 from behind the 3-point line.
Is that good?
It's all right.
All right.
Emoni Bates will rise up. His 3 is perfect.
Also good.
That was a Watts. A couple of jab steps. Goes around him. Rocket Watts missed the layup off the heel. Acuff hands it off. Bates will hammer it down with the right hand. Eastern needs to get it in bounds, and they do. Emoni Bates had to come all the way across.
It's a short shot clock here.
Bates stepping back. He launches
what is that?
3.
A guy in his face, and he makes that one.
Oakland back up by 5. Emoni Bates with it.
There it is.
Bates, long three. Emoni Bates.
17 in the first 14 minutes.
The Braves were 7-1 last year when they shot 33% or better from three. They're 5 of 10 so far tonight. Bates answers on the other end. Kicks
pass.
it in the corner, Tavanainen. And Farrakhan, guys over everyone to get the rebound. Bates one-on-one through traffic, had it blocked, but goaltending.
Leads as Connor Hickman gets to the back basket for the easy bucket.
And Hickman been on the bench a lot with foul trouble. He's got 3 points. Bates off the glass and good.
Henry 4 for 6 from the floor, 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Nice night offensively.
Bates crossing over and fades and hits. Boykins, as you mentioned, a very decorated NBA career.
Anthony Parker was also in that game for the Braves. You see, and Farrakhan, you see Hickman doesn't get that one to go, but Acuff, one of those guys who can get to the basket as well and really get Eastern Michigan's offense going. And Bates going to pull up.
That one's deep.
Checking your man and being together in your pick and roll defense, because Eastern Michigan is going to run a ton of ball screen action.
Here's Emoni Bates' first shot, and he knocks it down for 2.
And not just ball screen action, but also off the dribble handoff.
Williams the miss off the glass, and it's back the other way for Eastern. Acuff beating Bates for the layup. McDaniel finding Baker. Misses the 3. Had a good look.
It's a simple case of Eastern Michigan having no idea who they're guarding.
Emoni Bates for 3. Welcome back.
That's the beauty of this story, is that the ending is not written, and it can still turn out in a very good way, even though the struggles have been there. Emoni Bates, a guy that he's been through a lot in terms of being a superstar in a social media age, and how about that shot over the
Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. Lovejoy on the run. No, but look at the follow. Emoni Bates reveal the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Recent guys break it all down, coach reactions, and also hear from the chairman of the committee, Boo Corrigan, the NC State athletic director. There's Emoni Bates. Long two.
Right over the top of the defender.
Williams misses a 3 with space, and Bates rips down the board. Emoni Bates now 14 points.
I will say about Emoni Bates is he's taking shots from within the offense. Now this is a heat check right here. And it's
Michigan back into the lead, and now Bates scores to give Eastern the lead back in the foul.
Well, they've really gone away from that. That's just an indecisive shot as well. I mean, he's got to look, and he's looking to pass, then he's shooting. It's just Michigan a little bit out of sorts, very unsure of what they're doing right now.
Here's Emoni Bates, throws it down over Williams. Any recruiting pitch you can make.
That pass is not even close.
And it's taken away. There goes Lovejoy. Deep behind the Bates.
Shot.
And now Bates stops and pops. Connects.
The space he created there.
31 points for Hunter Dickinson to go along with 7 boards.
That's how this game is going to end. Yeah. What a bizarre ending.
Bates for 3. Yes, with 9.3.